Hello everyone, this is Caleb from Should You Play It, and I have another free game from the Epic Game Store to tell you about. It is Yooka-Laylee, and it will be free to keep for 1 week starting August 19th, 2021. So let's talk about if this game is worth your time. But first, what is Yooka-Laylee? Well, compared to the sequel that was actually free before on the Epic Game Store, the sequel, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, is a 2.5D platformer, side-scroller, pretty standard. The original game is actually a 3D platformer where you have to move the camera around and make sure that you jump in the right direction. Now, Yooka-Laylee starts in the hub world, which is pretty standard, green, pretty, but you slowly open the doors to 5 other worlds, each with their own themes, each with their own challenges. Now, even taking these 5 worlds, 6 worlds, in fact, together, it is not an expansive place in terms of area, but because a lot of the areas are inaccessible at first, you have to return to them once you get the proper skills to reach new areas. And one of the cool things about all the collectibles, which are everywhere, is that you can spend those collectibles to actually expand worlds that you've already seen. So you may think that you've discovered everything, but if you return with enough collectibles, you can actually sometimes double the size of that world and have even more to explore. Now, one of the most interesting things about this game is all of the skills that you can learn, and there's really a lot of them, about how you move, how you jump, how you fly, how you attack. You keep learning new things that are actually very important because they will open up new areas of the map to you. Now, of course, this is a platformer, so one of the key things is going to be how it handles and how the controls work. But this is getting us close to the key question, which is, should you play it? So we're going to jump right into that because the controls actually play a key role in my opinion about that question. So first of all, I should be very clear that I am not a fan of platformers. Anyone who watches this channel regularly will know that. I don't get a lot of enjoyment out of just having to jump from one platform to another and then eventually falling and having to go through it all again. It just doesn't engage me very much. But when Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair was free, I actually found it to be one of the more enjoyable platformers that I've played. The controls were really tight. I found it was challenging but fair. The mechanics kept getting mixed up, so it still kept me engaged through most of the game. So I was excited when the original was also free to give it a chance. The fact that it is a 3D platformer really changes the entire formula for me, because in a 3D platformer, the movement of the camera has to be very precise and smooth, otherwise it becomes frustrating. You're forced to jump kind of in a direction that you can't see, or the camera doesn't move quite right with you and you end up missing your jump, not necessarily because of a lack of skill, but because the camera can't quite keep up or isn't quite as sharp as it should be. And that is exactly the problem that I had with Yooka-Laylee, that the camera often gets stuck on a wall or something. You have to jump to the side without seeing exactly where you're jumping to, or the camera just kind of lagged a little bit or was in a bad position. And this is very frustrating in a platformer because then you end up repeating things that you really shouldn't have to repeat. Also, more on the negative side, the visuals of the world are nice, not my favorite. I wouldn't say gorgeous, but kind of charming and whimsical. But a lot of the worlds feel rather empty, and it would have been nice to have a bit more life there. The other characters that are there are either enemies that really are not that challenging or interesting, and NPCs that are completely stationary. And even the main characters that are supposed to be, kind of charming and funny, they didn't really connect with me. I didn't find that they had that interesting of a personality. Now, on the other hand, I am someone who likes to collect everything that I possibly can in a game. If you tell me that I need gold feathers and I see them on the horizon, then it makes me want to get there. And so the challenges of trying to get through the platforms or the puzzles to that point did pull me to new areas of the map. And it was always fun to achieve a new skill, to try it out, to realize that I could reach places that I hadn't gone around before, and that this would then allow me access to even more areas. So I suppose if you like platformers and you really like exploring in games, maybe you really like collecting items in games, whatever they are, this might be the game for you. But for me, I'm already frustrated by most platformers and the problems with the camera and the fact that the world and the characters could have been a lot more engaging and charming and interesting. The balance really leans towards no for me. This was not a game that I felt would be worth more time. And I think unless you're a hardcore platforming fan, this might not be a game that's worth your time. And there are probably a lot of other games in your backlog that would be a better use for your time, in my opinion. All of those games, if they're in your Epic library, we have reviewed them, and we will continue reviewing every free game from the Epic Games Store each week. So make sure you're subscribed, click the bell so you get notifications, because these games are free only for a week. Finally, let me know down in the comments if you're planning to give Yooka-Laylee a try, and if you do, what you think of it. So thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye.